First Lady of Argentina is back as the first ever Broadway revival of Evita kicks off at the Marquis Theatre. We're going inside to chat with the show stars just moments after taking their first curtain call.
Well, we all have just finished our very first preview. Our first preview of a new production of Evita, which is the first new production in over 30 years. So it's a big event for all of us. And we were very clear that I was certainly clear when I was asked by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice to come up with a new production, that we wanted to somehow present it for a new audience in a new century, and give them something that they have never seen before. And that was an opportunity to do that with this wonderful company here. And certainly the focus of it was about looking at everything that we've learned since the first production, about Argentina, particularly about the music. Andrew Lloyd Webber has reorchestrated a lot of it for this production, and the casting, of course, reflects that as well, as does the physical production, the set, the lighting, the costumes. So that's what we have done this evening. We've finally got it on, finally back to Broadway with Evita, and it's lovely to be here. I can say that on behalf of the rest of the cast who aren't here, and I think I can probably say it on behalf of all of you as well. So why don't I think the idea is that we'll open this up for questions. Just to break the ice, I'll start by asking one myself of each of them. And I suppose the obvious one to start with you, Elena, is that this is your Broadway debut tonight, is it?
Yes.
How did it feel? How was it for you?
Wow, that was big. It was amazing, very emotional. We were a little bit like tense at the beginning, but then the audience was so warm that it was very easy to go on and feel that we were giving everything. And the cast was amazing, and well, the guys are incredible. So I felt very well for the first time, for the first night, I mean.
So, Michael, this isn't your Broadway debut. You're a Tony-winning Broadway actor. You've done many musicals before, but this is your first Andrew Lloyd Webber piece. How is that? What is that? How different is that for you?
Well, it's been thrilling because I had seen the original production, years and years ago. Never kind of thinking at that time that I would even end up on Broadway at all, much less in Evita. And I suppose I've approached it the way I would approach anything in the Sondheim and the other things I've done before. I'd sort of, I go to the music to kind of mine everything that I can from it and from the text, and then I try to bring everything that I can to it. And that's sort of, true of this as with anything else. It's kind of exciting when you get to do material like this and you get to do it in this kind of venue and with these kinds of performers, everything is setting the bar so high that you bring the best of yourself as well.
And Ricky, this isn't your Broadway debut. You were here in 1996 in Les Mis. Welcome back to Broadway. How was it for you
Glad
today?
to be back. I am very happy. It was. It's amazing because I did Marius, who was a man that spoke for the people, and I guess Che does the same thing. To speak on behalf of the people is something that's following me, my acting career and in Broadway. It's just been fascinating. I'm in another place mentally, physically, spiritually today, and to be on stage surrounded by maestros. It's been a very beautiful journey, very spiritual, and I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow, and it's been a fascinating trip.
Well, tell me about Rob Ashford's dance. I hear it was a dance-driven production. Talk about working on the dance.
Yeah, we should. It was something that Andrew Lloyd Webber and I talked about at the very beginning and wanted to bring dance into it, and that's why Rob is so much an integral part of this production. And we have, of course, in Elena, somebody who can dance, and that was a starting point. And then we got somebody else who can dance, and then they taught somebody else to dance. So talk a little about the dancing for you and how that...
Well, I didn't know that Evita have to dance. So the first time when I did it in 2006 was like great. It was incredible. It was lovely to be able to do Buenos Aires dancing. Exhausted, but very nice dance. And it's lovely to be able to dance a little bit of tango at the beginning of the show. Then when I dance with him, a little bit in Buenos Aires. And I know that Rob Ashford went to Buenos Aires a lot of times. He did Kiss of a Spider Woman, and he knows all about the taste and the feeling of Buenos Aires, and I think he did it marvelous here. And it's great to be dancing his choreography.
Lo voy a decir en inglés. What was the question again? Yeah, 6 weeks? 5 weeks rehearsing it. And yes, the anxiety is there. But the next step was to just get on stage and feel the energy of the audience. That was the next step. That's what we were begging for at this point. And it was fascinating to go on stage and feel that energy. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Hi, I have a question for Michael Cerveris. I know you've done a lot of research for the role, and I'd like to know what was the most interesting thing you found out about Ron Perot.
Well, there were. It would take all day for me to tell all the interesting things that I've discovered. Some of them are things that you would expect and less flattering. Some of them are actually very unexpected things and things that that paint a different, another side to the man and to the relationship. I think probably the most surprising, shocking thing I learned, which is something that doesn't enter into our production, was that the hands of his body were stolen, from his grave some time ago and have never shown up again. Couldn't really figure out how to work that into the musical. I did try. It kind of fits in with some of my other work, but.
Well, I was saying about the character, that if it was difficult to do like a historical character. So I did it 6 years ago, and now I'm older and I'm mature, so I am thinking about the character like in a little bit different way that I used to. And I don't feel like it is like a big thing. Like I do all my works like with very focused and serious about them, so it doesn't matter if they are historical or not. So I try to do my best, and I do all the research, and I give my heart and my love, and well, that's it. That's what I do for every character.
Hey, Frank Jalala from New York One. Elena, what's your first memory of the musical Evita?
Of the musical when I was a kid, or?
When were you first introduced to the show?
Well, maybe it was when Nacha Guevara starts singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" in Spanish, and that was the only song I knew.
Michael, can you talk a little bit more about your concept for the production?
Yeah, the production was really born out of the fact that first revivals for anything are, well, apart from being an honour to do them, they're also a great challenge, because, and particularly when the first production of a musical has been iconic in some way, and this certainly was over 30 years ago, but we were very aware that as a whole generation, most of them were in the house tonight who've never seen it on stage before, and that one has to present something in a new time for these people, and that a great deal has happened since that first production, most noticeably, the fact that we have access now to so much of a country that we didn't know about back in the 1970s, and that we wanted to somehow put that onto the stage. The physical life of the piece wanted to be on stage. We also, Andrew was the first to admit, even when he composed the musical originally, he had no real access to the sounds of that part of the world more than the basic knowledge, and his knowledge has grown hugely in the intervening 30 years, and he wanted to get that into the orchestration. So it was really just about, from that point of view, we were able to offer something, I hope, with a more authentic feel. And also, the thing to always remember, between that very first production and this production, there has been a movie, and the movie has also opened the piece up to a whole new generation as well.
He's asking me what is the difference between being able to be on stage on Broadway and to be me on stage when I'm on the road with my music. And I started saying that I began at the first time I was on stage, I was part of a boy band who happens to have a very intense musical approach to the whole story of Music Man, because we pretty much were taking this concept around the world, and it was pretty much, there was a script that we had to follow, and there was some choreographies that we need to follow. So the beginning of my career pretty much was very theatrical, and I've been using that today. Because obviously the beginning stays, and in this case it stays for good. Obviously 1,400 people, and I've had the opportunity to perform in Madison Square Garden, River Plate. It's less intimate. What I'm trying to say by Che, he's a chameleon. You know, he can be so many people at the same time, and that was for me new. When I'm on stage as Ricky, well, I'm Ricky. I am nobody but me. And I think that tomorrow I can be someone else in this, portraying this character, which I find fascinating. It's like an open canvas that I can find colors and textures every night with respect and dignity. It's going to be amazing.
Michael, every actress in the world wanted to play favorite girl in this production. How did you know Elena was your girl?
Because when we met her, it was very obvious. We met a lot of people in the first time round, and the moment Elena came in, there was a completely different understanding of the role, and something, and an energy, and every single thing she brought into the room was different to anything we'd seen before, and that was the start of a wonderful journey.
She was asking about my kids and how demanding it's been to be a single father and to be to follow the schedule that we've been following, and we've been able to manage time in a very beautiful and excellent way. And they go to sleep a little bit later than usually what kids go to sleep. You know, they sleep with me. They come and have lunch with me. They come and visit us in the theater, and it's been great.
Thank you all so very much. I'm so sorry. We have to let them go and celebrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Peace out.